Welcome to MoggyBoxCraft. I'm Deborah and today I'm going to share with you 16 of the things that I think are essential for the garden. So let's get into it and see if you guys agree. The first thing I needed when I started gardening was a propagator. Pretty essential bit of kit, I would say. I got mine from B&Q. You got them in loads of different sizes, so you'll be able to fit them in any nooks and crannies, window ledges, whatever you need. To go along with your propagator, you're going to need some cell trays or some small pots. Your pots or trays go inside your propagator. You're also going to need some seeds and some soil. Don't be fooled by the seeds. They're very addictive. I've heard tattoos are addictive. Seed buying is worse. I promise you, you won't be able to go into a garden shop in the land without picking up a few packets. Once you've got your seeds and your soil, put them in your pots and your trays and stick them in your propagator and you're on your way to having a successful garden. In at number 2, heat mats and grow lights. This is my 3rd year of growing. Well, this is technically my 4th year of growing in the garden, I think. Is it? I'm still fairly new to gardening and this was the first year I've ever tried grow lights and a heat mat. I've actually got a grow light experiment going on at the moment. I'll leave a link to that video here and in the description box below. Spoiler alert, they work. And that's why heat mats and grow lights are going into my list of gardening essentials. At number 3, label makers and markers. Over the years I've tried varying different types of marker. Originally I got lollipops because I thought, oh, that'll be better for the environment. Unfortunately, the wood breaks down and decomposes and breaks and the writing rubs off so you can't see what's on them. I love the plastic markers. I think I was gifted these. The unfortunate thing with these, although after writing on them, I've never found a permanent marker that stays permanent. Quite often whatever I've written on just decomposes off them and they disappear and I still can't tell what it is. So for any outdoor seedlings, these label makers are great, although the bottom of mine seems to be broken. Never mind, I'll fix that later. This is what the label maker looks like. I put these on wooden markers to start with and they mostly always fall off because again the wood decomposes. So this year I'm going to try putting them on plastic markers. At number 4, the pink rectangular trough. I think these are about £14 each. They are a little bit pricey and I have quite a few of them, but I just hose them down at the end of every season. They're really sturdy. They line up together really nicely and look very pretty. You can get them in varying different colours. What I really love about these, can you see these here? These little holes? Well, they're about an inch tall. So really good for tomatoes in the summer when I'm desperately trying to keep them watered and keep them hydrated and not let them dry out too much. Would highly recommend these. Love my pink rectangular troughs. Number 5, garden supports. I usually use just string or rope or twine. Hook in here and a hook in up there, and I have tied a little bit of rope there as well. If we get some more bad weather, the rows will be supported. You can use the rope to tie plants on. Don't use cable ties, I've tried that. I did that last year with the sunflowers. I very loosely used cable ties to keep them upright, and blowing in the wind, the stalk sort of dug into the plastic and it wasn't great for them. Don't do that. I also like to use bamboo, and you can always, you know, stick it in the ground, let things grow up it. Another great thing for garden supports is tent pegs, or something that looks a bit like tent pegs. Sometimes like I'll tie a piece of rope to the ceiling in the greenhouse, I'll tie the other end to these pegs and I'll stab the peg into the pot. That makes the rope tight so the plant can grow up a bit happier. Garden support, absolutely essential. Number 6, gardening gloves. Couldn't live without these. I love having my nails done and I need to protect them. I don't always remember to wear gardening gloves, but when I do, I always thank myself, and I'm sure my nail tech thanks me as well. They're great to stop you from cutting yourself, getting scrapes. Also great from doing any paint work outdoors. Keeps the hand warm. And it also stops me getting covered in paint. In at 7, secateurs and forks. You need your fork and your trowel for digging and planting and all that jazz. And secateurs for snipping, cutting, tidying up, cutting back. I seem to have amassed quite a collection of secateurs. I don't know if I could garden properly without secateurs. I think this is one of the first things I bought actually. Ooh, and it's so satisfying when you're chopping things back. Oh, just you wait. Roll on spring. Number 8, buckets. Great for gathering things into. especially when you've been busy chopping at things and chopping things down. It's really handy to have a nice flexible light bucket to carry around with you. I like these ones. They're like a little bit bendy, so I can kind of, you know, shove a whole lot of stuff in and then, you know, a bit like an over-exaggerated handbag. And off to the brown bin I go. You get the idea. It's not pretty, but it does the job. I have quite a few of these actually, and they're great as well if you're gathering up veg, fruit, anything really. Just whack it in your bucket, take it to wherever it needs to be. Number 9, a portable clothes rail. No, it's not for that summer fashion show that you know is coming. It's to hang up all your onions and your garlic so they can dry easier. I fell upon this idea accidentally. I had a few leftover clothes rails. I didn't know what to do with them, so off into the attic they went, until one day when I finally grew some successful onions and garlic. I needed somewhere for them to dry. This is my portable clothes rail. When I pick my garlic, just use some elastic bands, and I just do this. That's it. All I can say is it works. These clothes rails have worked a treat for me over the winter for the onions. In fact, they're still on the clothes rail in our shed, staying cool and dry, and I just pop out whenever I need a couple of onions. Number 10, compost barrels. I've tried a few different compost barrels before. I find them really difficult to work with. They're either too big, or you can't mix everything in, or trying to get the compost out. It's just a bit of a headache for me. So what I did is I got 60-litre food waste barrels that have got a lid that you can actually close and lock. And these are my composter barrels. It does smell to the high heavens. So we went ahead and drilled holes into the bottom of the barrels. We put all our composting materials into the barrel. Now all that's in there, pop the lid back on, seal it back up, tip it on its side, give it a little shuggle, roll it around because that helps everything to mix up a little bit better. And then because we drilled holes in the bottom of the barrel, the liquid kind of just drizzles out of them. So we strategically place these barrels around the garden, and it's like liquid feed for the garden. And then when it's all decomposed, I just dig up the raised beds and deposit what's left of the compost in there and mix it in with the soil. Job's a good one. Number 11, lawnmower. Electric lawnmower. We have the tiniest amount of grass, so I usually cut the grass once a week in the summer. Although I have made the fatal mistake of cutting the grass too short a lot of the time, or too late in the season. Don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. I don't think there's much more to be said about that, unless you don't have any grass, and then maybe a lawnmower isn't that important. On to number 12, electric hedge trimmers. Oh, now, I bought these last year in my autumn garden haul, and I can just tell you, worth every penny. Right enough, they're not the strongest things. They're like a medium powered hedge trimmer. They're not like a chainsaw. They're not going to cut down everything. But I did find this particular model really light to work with, really easy to work. I managed to do the whole of our front hedge without too much problems. Also, remember to get yourself a tarp to catch all the fallen branches and leaves and things, so it's a little bit easier to tidy up. Number 13, leaf blower. In our garden there's quite a lot of leafage in autumn and winter and spring and all year round it feels like. So our leaf blower doesn't just blow, it sucks as well, and as it sucks up the leaves it shreds them at the same time, which is excellent for making compost, and also really easy to empty into our compost barrels to make more compost. On to number 14. We've got the power washer and the hose attached brush cleaner. If you ever need satisfaction in your life, get yourself a power washer, like a jet power washer, and wash your driveway. So satisfying. I never seem to remember how dirty our driveway and our steps and our decking area gets until I power wash clean it. Ooh. So satisfying when it's done. Power washer is a tiny bit too powerful for our awning and our greenhouse roof. The awning is impossible to get up to with the power washer. So I managed to find a car washer cleaner brush. So our hose attaches to this brush. It's a soft bristled brush on an extendable pole. I want to say 3 meters or thereabouts. And there's like a little switch on it that lets the water flow through into the brush. The water comes through and kind of washes everything out and keeps everything moving. But yes, what a difference that makes. So satisfying when like you look up and you're on your sun lounger and you're drinking your coffee or your cocktail and you can see the sun again. Oh, lovely. Number 15, barbecue and fire pit. How was it?
Very good. Yeah, it's good, thanks.
You're welcome. Yes, barbecue food. I do not think my garden would be complete without a barbecue or a fire pit. Or, at number 16, fairy lights. Are fairy lights a garden essential? I'll let you decide. But in my garden, for me, absolutely. I do not think my garden would be the same without them. And they do look very beautiful in the evening, with a cocktail or a drink in hand, as the sun sets on our barbecued evenings and the fairy lights come on. Just makes it all cozy and sort of whimsical, I think. Also, garden lights are kind of essential when you've got dogs, because in the winter, it really does help if you can see where they're doing their business so you can pick it up. Yeah. And that is my 16 garden essentials. Do you agree? Have I missed anything? What would you add to the list? Is there anything I've forgotten about? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, share and subscribe. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!